All right, looks like we've got about 3 people in attendance right now. So good afternoon, guys. Glad you guys are with us on this wonderful Wednesday. My name is Ethan Price. I'm a member of the support team for Decisions, and I've hosted a couple lunch and learns. It looks like we have one pre-submitted question, but really quickly, I'm just going to kind of jump through this. So if you guys are still running version 6, we have fully ended the support life for version 6. So we want to encourage everybody to upgrade to version 8, just so you can make sure that you're taking advantage of all the new features and all the new fixes that we have added in there. So if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out. I can get you in contact with your customer success manager to make sure that we can support you during the upgrade process. Our next product roadmap, we host these every other Thursday, so that would be tomorrow. We've got Eric from our product team that will host this product roadmap where you can offer your ideas and contribute to how we move forward with decisions. So we want to encourage you to join into that. It's a great experience, and I enjoy seeing what ideas people put out there. So we have one pre-submitted question from Greg Woods. And Greg, I saw that you had mentioned you wanted to share your screen. Unfortunately, we can't allow a screen share, but if you want to go ahead and just share what you're experiencing, and I can see if I can take a stab at it. All right, you should be able to unmute.
Gotcha. Can you hear me now?
Yep, I got you.
All right. It's so I have a basic report, and one of the columns is order number, and another column is order version, right? So a duplicate order numbers come in, and each time there's a different version to it. Version 1, 2, 3, whatever. I just want to filter out all the older versions and just keep the newest version. So it'd be the order number would be the same for each version, but the order version is different.
Okay.
I don't know if I explained that clearly.
So we have like a report that's showing like object 1, and then we have we have 3 iterations of object 1, and then we have version 1, version 2, and version 3.
Yep.
We want to
So
filter out like just so we show version 3 as the latest version.
yes, that's correct.
That's interesting. I'm not sure if I've set anything up like that. I feel like it should be possible, but I'd really have to take a stab here. I do have, this is just an accounts. So I may have to create a custom data type for this. So let's create something.
Is this I think a while back we were allowed to share screens on this. Is that like a new rule for the lunch and learn?
Yeah, that was something that was implemented recently. I think we had an issue where some data that wasn't meant to be shared got out.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
So we'd rather just ensure that we're not
Yeah, no doubt.
throwing anything out there. So let's do object name. Let's see. I guess so we have version, and then do we have like an actual field for the order?
No, you could just do the two
Okay.
data types there. Yeah.
Oh gosh. Zoom controls are getting in the way now. Okay, so we can save that. Okay, so we've got a report version filter. Let's create a flow. Connect that there. So I'll just go ahead and drag it out. Structure. And let's throw in a create here. All right. So we've got object 1. We'll do version 1. We'll do version 2. And we'll do version 3. So we'll save that. I think I already had one created, but now I have two. Do object name. We'll do object version. Okay. So we've got 3 entries in here. So my guess would be that we'd have to do something with a rule filter. But in terms of the logic that we'd really need to make here, gosh, I wish I had some time to think about this. This is I may need to rework this data field too. If we have, I'm assuming these are saved as strings on your end.
Yep.
Okay. So pick create rule. What could
I
we
mean,
do?
you could do created on date too.
That's true. Actually, yeah, that's
That's the other thing I was thinking about instead of analyzing the version, because the version 1 is always going to be created first, version 2 is going to be created second, and version 3 is created third. So that would be okay just to do created on date, the last one that was created somehow.
yeah, that's a really good point. Honestly, I think that's probably the easier setup there.
But
So
that's as far as I got. That thought.
yeah.
I don't know how to implement it.
Okay, so let me save this. Let's do. Where is my flow? I'm just gonna add a created on date here. To jump out. Throw in a date time. Oh, we hadn't quite finished the code compile. Okay. So do object 2, do version, current date time. Okay, so we'll do version 1, do version 2. And version 3. So we could save that. We jump back into our report. We can add our created on date. So now we've got, I'd also like to show long date time. Okay, so we've got our seconds. So let's create a rule. Create a new tab here as well. So if we set up our input data, let's do created. Created on date. There's nowhere good to put the zoom controls, I swear. Just every time I end up sharing my screen, I just slide these all over the place and they're never in the right spot. So let's see, I'm gonna look at our docs as well and see what we can do with a rule filter on a report. Designer, specific data values. Okay, so we've got this example uses created on date with a constant. Inputs. And I'm thinking because what really matters here is we're going to have to analyze based on multiple iterations. So we're going to have to pull from the report data and check if there are any. I wonder if we could approach this in a sense of maybe creating a flow sourced report. So is this something that you're looking to have filtered live, or is it just something that we could have where we just pull up the report and we just have the latest iterations?
Um, like so you mean so the latter thing you said would when you pull up the report, it will run the flow and filter it out?
Yeah, I'm looking at the sense, and I'm just throwing ideas out. I'm trying to see what can match your use case, but we have the option to just create a report that has a flow as its data source rather than pulling from a table and filtering after. And so I'm wondering if this is something where we need to hit a button on the report to say show only the latest iterations, or if we could just have the report itself
You could have the
filter it.
report itself filter it.
Okay. So I wonder if we could do. I'm going to save this for now and we'll leave this. So let's do, we use report one. A totally not generic name. So we can set this under our flow properties to be a report flow. Let's do a fetch. Do no results. And we'll do, let's see, collection filter step. Which step do I need here? Bear with me. It's been quite a while since I've
It's
used
all
one of
right.
these.
Take your time.
Yeah, I know I've built something similar to this in the past where I filtered based on the date and then returned a value, but it has been probably 2 years since I've done that.
Maybe on the fetch step, there's a option that only returns one order.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. It's just throwing ideas out there. I forget.
yeah, we can do something where we only return, we can limit, we can sort. We have fetch criteria that we could use, and let me add the type name.
Yeah, like maybe um do a created on date descending order
Yeah,
and just return the first. Yeah, I don't know.
so we could do. I don't necessarily know about that. So let's fetch everything. Man, this is upsetting. This has me stumped, and I don't know why. Okay, so we've got collection. That I think is what I need. Collection sort step. It looks like, yeah, I haven't been quite keeping up with chat. Let's see. Looks like there were some ideas here.
Hey, yep. So the best way would be just to create a SQL query, and the date will not help here. I mean, in the flow, you can use like a for each group
Hmm.
and group by object name, but the flow will not be the best solution to that because it's going to be slow on the huge data sets. If
Gotcha.
possible, instead of the created on date, if you, when you create that object, if you use like a flag, just like I mentioned, is latest. So you fetch the latest one, which is true, flip that flag to false, and a new one flip to true. And on the report, you just filter by true. That's it.
Okay, that's interesting. So I'll save that and I'll leave that there for now. So we're saying like when we actually create the
Yeah,
object here, like if we add a field into our data structure, let's see.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that would be an option. We already have like live data that's
Okay.
already created, you know what I mean? Like the data type is set, it can't be changed right now. It's already in production. So maybe a direct query. Is that what you said start with?
yeah, that's going to be the fastest way, just to create query where you will handle that on the SQL level.
Gotcha.
Or if possible, again, if you have live data, you can create a utility that on the next release, you will just run it one time and it will set those flags.
Yep. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think I might just lean towards a SQL query. So I think we're okay, Ethan. You don't have to spend any more time on this one.
Yeah,
I got I
sounds
got I
good.
got I got enough to work with now. I could make some solutions.
Yeah, and I appreciate the input, guys. That was
Yep.
just
Yeah,
yet
same
another
guys.
thing where
Appreciate
like
the input.
yeah, as soon as you mentioned it, like, yeah, why didn't I think of that?
No, yeah. The flow is definitely a good idea, but as he said, it's going to be pretty slow if you do it starting with the flow directly.
Yeah.
Doing an SQL query is probably the fastest to eliminate all the returned data
Yeah, and I
out of it.
love the idea of the is latest. Like obviously, like you said, we can't really throw that in when we have live data just because that's,
Yeah.
just adding another field, but in the future that's something that I'm definitely going to consider.
Okay. Sounds
So,
good, guys. Appreciate it.
yeah, thank you guys. All right. Did we have any other questions? I think I've seen any. Let's see. Actually, it looks like Nancy did have one. Let's go ahead and
Hi, Ethan, can you hear me?
Hey, yes, I can. How are you?
Hi, so I put it in the chat, but it might be easier to just describe. So, we've got some reports. They're like in a report viewer, but the best example is if you say create a dashboard with like a pie chart, and then you go and you click on one of the slices and it brings up the report that we can see the title information. It's so like the text is white and then everything around it is so light that we can't see it, or like the X to close it. And we were messing around in the themes for something, so it might be themes, but I can't figure out where to fix that.
So let's see. I want to see exactly what we're looking at here. So we should have, I can delete this report. So it's not getting in the way. So we have our data here. If I add in, can I add any sort of, let's group. Let's do an a pie. Doesn't have to be anything special. Let's do, save that as well. Do default view, run the report.
See how, so in here, where you have like count, object name, all that, right? You can see that ours is, it's white, and including like that box to make it bigger and the X. Like you can barely see it. So we
Yeah, I was gonna say,
what
I
that
don't,
element is.
let's see if we can dig. I don't, sorry, I've been dealing with a sickness, so I've been coughing in and out. Just one sec. So let's see if we can find under our theme editor if we have anything for, I don't know where our report stuff lives. This may be something that I'm thinking now, just because I truthfully don't know where any of our report headers live in terms of like where those colors are stored. This may be something that we'd have to look at on a support ticket so we can actually look at what you're seeing.
Okay.
Yeah, because we don't have anything here. Common entities report. Yeah, these are just a bunch of order color. Top icon request. Yeah, these are a bunch of border colors. Okay, report. Maybe. Cover today color. Item background color. Dialogue header, maybe?
Can you look at that from the, like in a dashboard?
From a dashboard, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. We can just go ahead and throw this out here. Pick this report, report 2.
And add your little pie chart up there in a tile.
Okay, so it's specifically in a tile.
The example would be coming from a tile, yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's one of the examples. It's not the only one, but
So let's do our source. Let's do report 2. Okay, so yeah, it looks like it's about the same.
yeah. Okay, so that's where ours is. Can't see it.
And are you guys using any sort of CSS at all, like within the portal itself? Like, do we have any applied?
We do. But I can't tell. I've tried to look at it through Magic CSS.
Let's change that to
Well, I can't tell what element it is. I have no idea.
yeah, I should still have. Let's
We
see.
get it's not just in there, like, and I can't remember offhand, but even when we're working in the studio, it's like to close out something that we're working on, we know where the X is, but we can't see that either.
Yeah, but I mean, knowing where it is, and it's you'd still ideally like to see it.
Yeah.
Let's- Dialogue header background. This is the one that sounds closest to me, and I'm just curious to see what this changes.
I think you have to clear your cache. That's what it,
In newer versions, it's a little better when it comes to that. I'm still going to, because
Okay.
yeah, I have experienced that where. Let me go ahead and but I know we had some defects that were submitted recently. I know I submitted a couple where the theme editor was a little unreliable when it came to when you would make changes like that. Yeah, so that didn't change. I can't wait to find out in a couple weeks what that changed. Just see something bright red show up on my screen.
I know.
But yeah, I think overall, I'd probably suggest submitting a support ticket for that. And
Okay.
if you can, just drop your email into the chat and I'd be happy to submit one on your behalf. And then I can go ahead and grab that and we can take a look at it on call,
Okay.
just so we can actually do a screen share session.
Okay, I just did, thanks.
All right, perfect. Let me go ahead and note that.
Oh, VT, you gave me some information. VP clock red view header. Okay. I'll give that a try.
Yeah, I'll take a look at that as well. But overall, yeah, I'll go ahead and throw in a support ticket and then we can take a look at that and we can try out a couple things with CSS on your environment, and we'll see what we can get.
Okay.
All right. Doesn't look like we have any other questions. Give just a few seconds to make sure, but it looks like we are just about good to wrap up here. All right, I'm not seeing any objections, so
Can I get this noted down from the chat first?
yeah, sure. I'll grab a record of this as well, just so I can reference this later.
I got it.
All right, awesome. All right, I wish you guys a great afternoon. Thank you for joining, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care, guys.